What a difference 24 hours makes as a blast of winter weather has slammed into southwestern Montana. Our morning meteorologist Adam Bell is standing by live outside and has been tracking this storm. He joins us now with more. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Beth, and you're right. We have a lot of snow on the ground. I had a feeling it was going to be a nothing or bust situation, and while we did more than absolutely the maximum I expected out of this storm, we've already seen about 8 inches on the ground. I just measured it behind me out here live on our weather patio, and we could see several inches more across southwest Montana. In fact, the National Weather Service spoke to me this morning and they upgraded the winter weather advisory below 5,000 feet to a winter storm warning all the way through 5 p.m. Temperatures outside right now, surprisingly enough, 34 degrees in Bozeman, and it's still snowing pretty heavily at the last hour. As we look at the satellite and radar composite, we still are in a radar gap here in southwest Montana, but it definitely is snowing, as you just saw, and we are going to continue seeing that over the next little bit. Next 24 hours this afternoon, not much difference in temperatures. We're going to stay steady throughout the day. 6 to 12 inches in the valleys possible, especially in the Bozeman area. More than a foot possible in the mountains. Traveling is going to be a very treacherous time. I'll have a look at the road conditions coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Adam. And
your accurate forecast from Adam Bell starts now with Storm Tracker Weather on Montana's news station.
Well, a lot to talk about in the weather department as the National Weather Service has upgraded us, even in the Gallatin Valley, to a winter storm warning through 5 p.m. today. Butte is not included in these advisories, surprisingly enough, but they did see some snow, but just wet conditions out there, not near as much snow as the east side of the divide has seen. And we're expecting anywhere from 6 to 12 inches below 5,000 feet. Above 5,000 feet, including Bozeman Pass, we could see more than a foot of snow, and it is very treacherous driving conditions this morning across the area. I've seen when I was driving in this morning, I had to follow a snowplow on the way in down Huffine Lane, and it was just very tough conditions. Only one lane was plowed at the time, so very difficult driving conditions this morning. Allow plenty of extra time across the area. There's what we're expecting through 5 p.m. tonight, so it's definitely going to be a very snowy day across southwest Montana. Most of the snow should be falling this morning. The heaviest will definitely fall this morning, and as we go into the evening hours, a few more flurries and showers are possible, but things should begin to eventually wind on down. Storm totals once again 6 to 12 inches, possibly even more in the Bozeman area by this evening. In mountains, definitely more than a foot of snow is in the realms of possibilities as we work our way into the afternoon hours, and a cool day as well, as we only stay into the 30s. Overnight tonight, once we begin to quiet out and partly cloudy skies move on in, we're looking at downright cold conditions with that snow on the ground, teens and single digits for many, so brace for a very cold night across southwest Montana. The next 7 days, the good news is after we get through today, it's going to take a long time to get through it, but once we do, we're looking at much drier conditions for much of the area. A slight chance for some showers maybe on Saturday, but much cooler as highs are only in the upper 30s on Saturday and Sunday. As we look at the mining city, upper 20s for your Saturday highs. So a cool weekend on its way, but much drier conditions than what we're seeing today. And even into early next week, a warm-up is on its way as we get into the 40s by Tuesday. So really not too much to complain about once we get through today, but once again, take your time on the roads this morning, and I'll look at your road report in just a minute.
All right, let's get another check of that wintry forecast. Adam Bell is standing by live outside, bearing the elements. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Beth. You're right. It is a very snowy morning across the Bozeman area in southwest Montana. So if you haven't looked out your window, don't be surprised to see close to 8.5 inches, actually, I just measured it, of snow on the ground. Let's look at your road conditions for southwest Montana. We are looking at a lot of snow, mainly south of the I-90 corridor and east of the divide. In and around the mining city, they saw about 1/10 of as much precipitation than the Bozeman area did, so there's not nearly as much snow on the ground. It's just a little more of a wet, icy type morning. Further to the north, it's just recently started snowing in places like Helena and Great Falls. Off further to the east, though, Three Forks out to Bozeman and Bozeman south down to West Yellowstone. Plenty of snow cover out there, and going over Bozeman Pass, very difficult at the last hour. So please give yourself plenty of time on the roadways, and if you don't absolutely have to go out, it's probably not recommended to do so. Satellite and radar composite showing that we are still well into the middle of this system, but it's going to eventually wind down this afternoon. Temperatures, surprisingly enough, 34 degrees in Bozeman right now, and it's still snowing at the pace that it is. Afternoon highs today across the region only in the 30s, but look down to the south. Denver, wouldn't that be nice? 70 degrees. That's a look at your latest forecast.
Our meteorologist Adam Bell is standing by live outside with more on this winter storm. Adam?
Well, thanks, Beth. And just in the last little bit, live outside here, the wind has begun to pick up out of the west, so it could be reducing visibility even more. But definitely a white morning across much of southwest Montana, including the Bozeman area. Over 8 inches of snow on the ground, and there's still more to come before things begin to wind down. There's your satellite and radar composite across the state. You can see that we still are blanketed by clouds, and despite the fact that the radar is relatively blank across our area, that is not the case. We have plenty of snow falling across the area. 27 degrees in Butte with a lot less precipitation out there, but it could be a little bit icy this morning as it's below freezing. Over in Bozeman, it's more of a snow issue to deal with as we have temperatures in the low 30s. 24-hour forecast for the afternoon hours, we're still looking at plenty of snow. 6 to 12 inches now possible in the valleys with the winter storm warning out there. Mountains also could see a foot or more of the white stuff. I'll have a look at your road conditions and much more coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, and with that, all right, let's get another check of your forecast as much of southwestern Montana is waking up to a lot of snow. How's that going, Adam?
A white morning this morning, Beth, and I just have some brand new numbers in from the National Weather Service. 6 miles west of Pony out in Madison County, 11 inches of snow on the ground. 15 miles northwest of Ennis, 15 inches. And outside here of our studio at KBZK, we're at about 8.5 inches on the ground looking down at my ruler, and we still could see more over the next little bit. Let's take a look at our satellite radar composite across the country, and we're the big story. There is a lot of rain out in Washington, D.C. That's the remnants of Ida across the eastern part of the United States, but we are seeing the most amount of snow across the country right now, and that's going to continue even through the morning hours. And there's another batch of precipitation hitting Seattle and Portland this morning that will be impacting us maybe perhaps for the weekend, but we still have to deal with this storm first, and we've seen a lot of snow across the area, and we're going to continue once again seeing it mainly for the eastern part of our viewing area. That's where the biggest impact is going to be across much of southwest Montana. Temperatures right now in the mining city, 27 degrees. So despite the fact that they didn't see as much precipitation as the Bozeman area did, it could still be icy this morning. So you're still going to want to double check those road conditions by visiting our websites at KBZK and KXLF.com for the latest information on the road conditions. Here's your storm total expected for the valleys. Up to 6 to 12 inches of snow is possible, especially on the east side of the divide, including Bozeman. In fact, Bozeman could see more than 12 inches before the day is over. In the mountains, even worse, more than a foot of snow is expected by the end of the day today. So please, once again, if you don't have to travel, try to avoid it. And if you do, just give yourself plenty of extra time. Take it slow and make sure you have those snow tires if you can put them on. Overnight tonight, as things begin to quiet down and we finally begin to calm down across southwest Montana, it's going to get downright cold as we drop into the teens and single digits. Now, a quick look at the next 7 days does show that we're finally going to get out of this by later on tonight into tomorrow. Still a few flurries possible later on tomorrow, but cool as we only have highs in the upper 30s to near 40 for the next few days. A warm up though as we head toward the middle part of next week and we dry out as well. In the mining city, look at your Saturday high, 27 for your high. Warming up though by the middle part of next week as we get to 44 by your Tuesday. So enjoy the snow while it lasts, but once again, stay off the roads if you can. That's a look at your latest forecast.
Let's first send it over to Adam Bell for another check of that snowy forecast. Adam.
Well, Beth, it definitely is snowy out there, and I just actually heard a snowplow go by back behind me here on Huffine Lane, and so that's the good news. The snowplows are out in full force, but it's going to take some time, and people are struggling even in the parking lot here outside of our studios, so please give yourself just a little bit of extra time across the roadways this morning. Taking a look at the satellite radar composite, it doesn't look that ominous, but it is. It's actually moderate snow in Bozeman, despite the fact that the snow is actually mostly looking like it's falling off to the north and east, and we're in that radar gap. So don't believe the radar this morning, but we are seeing snow, and we are going to continue seeing snow. 6 to 12 inches, maybe even more possibly in the valleys, especially on the east side of the divide. Now, off to the west side of the divide, not as much snow is expected, but it still could accumulate a couple more inches, so brace yourself for that. But the road conditions are going to be extremely slick, especially this morning. In the mining city, you're already below the freezing mark this morning, so anything that appears to be wet will definitely be a little bit more on the icy side. Overnight tonight, as we begin to quiet down, the storm should begin to taper off. That's the good news, but it's going to get downright chilly, so anything that may even have a slight chance of melting this afternoon will definitely refreeze, so we could have another slick commute even for your Friday morning as well, so brace yourself for that. Now look at the next 7 days. Does show that we are going to be drying out and getting better conditions. A little bit cooler over the weekend though as we get into the upper 30s for the Bozeman area, and as we jump across the divide over to the Butte area. We're also looking at a chance for some snow today, drying out but cool for the weekend. Warmer weather though early next week. But Beth, once again, looking out here live outside in the snow, it is definitely going to stay snowy for the next several hours.
All right, thanks Adam, and we will of course continue tracking this storm online and on air at